Karibu tena double updates popote pale ulipo mtazamaji wangu. Mimi natumai unaendelea vizuri kabisa. Niite Mr. Double J na kama kawaida hii hapa ni ulimwengu wa siasa. Nakumbuka juzi kati hapa nikiwaambia kwamba kama kuna nyumba mbili ambazo siziamini sasa hivi, namba moja ya bunge la kitaifa, lakini pili kule Senate. Na point yangu ikawa na support kwa kusema kwamba kuna mambo mengi tu ambayo yamekuwa yakizungumzwa au yakiamuliwa kwenye hizo nyumba mbili, lakini mwisho siku matokeo yamekuwa ni matokeo ya kumfurahisha William Samoei, lakini sio ya kumfurahisha mwananchi wa kawaida. Na hii hapa imekuwa ikitokana na mtu kulinda sehemu ambapo anatokea. Yani watu wamefocus zaidi na muungano ambao anatokea kuliko sehemu ambapo anawakilisha. Kwa hiyo mwisho siku unakuta kwamba viongozi wengi tu wa UDA walikuwa na support kitu kwa sababu lazima tufurahishe William Samoei, we are the majority, alafu mwisho siku wananchi wanakuja kuumia. Ndio maana kwa tokea ile situation ya kwamba the same people wakapitisha nini, finance bill. Baadaye what happened, wengine wakagundua kwamba tuko na wakulima fulani, kumbe hata tulichokipitisha ndio kinawaumiza zaidi. Ndio wakaanza kuleta hapa stories nyingi, tubadilishe, haikuwa poa, kuna sema zipo sawa na nini bla bla bla, na stories ambazo hazi make sense. Sawa, nimerejea tena kwa mara nyingine kuhusu hizo nyumba mbili, but this time round utaniruhusu nizungumzie wapi? Utaniruhusu nizungumzie Senate. So Senate si tu kwamba sasa nawakubali vile, kuna kitu walikifanya jana. Yule deputy governor wa Kisii anaitwa Monda, si ndio? Yes, ndo kabisa walikataliwa na wale senators. But kitu ambacho kilinifurahisha ni namna walivyoungana. Yaani viongozi wa Azimio wakaungana na viongozi wa Kenya Kwanza wakaamua huyu deputy governor hafai. Na hafai kwa sababu gani? Hafai kwa sababu ya maovu mabaya ambayo amefanya kule Kisii, ambayo haimruhusu tena kufanya kazi au kufanyia wananchi kazi. And I was happy. Ikawa nasema sawa, viongozi wa UDA wanaweza wakawa walifanya hivyo kwa sababu jamaa sio mtu wao, sio wa UDA na mambo kama hayo. But Azimio niko very sure huyu alikuwa ni mtu wao, but mwisho siku ni kiongozi ambaye amefanya kitu kibaya, so alikuwa na deserve kitu ambacho alipewa. So ikawa nasema, yani ikitokea UDA na viongozi wao wanaweza wakafanyia mtu wao ambaye amefanya makosa kitu kama kile, then tunaweza tukapiga hatua kubwa sana. Isiwe kila kitu ni kufurahishana timu, kufurahisha sehemu unawakilisha, kufurahisha chama, kufurahisha kiongozi wako. Hapana. Mwisho siku pia lazima tuangalie hawa watu wanafanyaje wananchi kazi. Ni kitu kipi ambacho hawafanyi vizuri na mambo kama hayo. So kwangu mimi nilifurahia sana mtazamaji wangu. I think nitakuletea hapa baada ya tangazo fulani hapa nitakuja na compilation kidogo ambayo inakuonyesha tu jinsi ambavyo walishirikiana, walivyokuja tu pamoja wakashirikiana na wakaamua kwamba hapana, huyu amefanya vibaya. Yani natamani kuona siku nyingine, kwa mfano tu Moses Kuria akafanya kitu ambacho sio sawa, yani kapatikana labda mamilioni ya pesa sio nini, aambiwe tu pale kwamba haujafanya kitu kizuri, hata kwenye bunge ama kwenye wapi huko, watu waongee tu ukweli, tufanyie wananchi kazi, and tutapiga hatua kubwa sana watazamaji wangu, sio? So before hata muone compilation na namna ambavyo walishirikiana hawa viongozi kule kwenye Senate, I think ni wape taarifa hii hapa ndo tuendelee. Asante kwa kila mtu ambaye anaendelea kushirikiana na sisi ili tumokoe ndugu yangu Joe ana tatizo la sickle cell anemia. Cha ajabu na cha kushangaza zaidi ni kwamba mwili wake umekataa kupokea dawa ambayo imechangiwa na mishipa ya kupitisha dawa mwilini kufa kabisa. Kabla ya timu ya double updates kumtembelea Joe, aliambia madaktari wafanye kitu ambacho kinaitwa euthanasia. Kwa wale ambao hawafahamu, euthanasia ni process ambayo inawaruhusu au inawapa nafasi madaktari kukuua au kukumaliza kutokana na maumivu makali ambayo unaweza ukawa unapitia ya kupitiliza. Lakini kwa bahati nzuri Joe amepata daktari ambaye anaweza kumfanyia upasuaji maalum ambayo mwisho wa siku itamsaidia na itasaidia mwili wake kupokea dawa bila tatizo. lakini kutokana na uwezo mdogo, Joe ametuomba msaada ili tumwokoe. Sasa hivi tunaendelea kufanya challenge ya shilingi 100, na yeyote ambaye anaweza kupata zaidi ya 100 anakaribishwa. Yeyote ambaye atapata chini ya 100 bado anakaribishwa. Naamini kwenye kidogo chetu tukikiweka pamoja kitamsaidia sana ndugu yangu Joe. Nashukuru kila mtu ambaye ameguswa na kila mtu ambaye tayari ameshachangia. Details ni hizi hapa kwenye screen yako, na naamini mwisho siku tutafanikiwa kwa hili hapa. Tumefanya mengi na naamini sana kwenye hili hapa pia tunaweza tukalifanikisha. Asanteni. Na kwa mara nyingine tena, shukrani za dhati kwa yeyote ambaye ameingia kwenye mfuko wake akatoa 100 au 50 au hata zaidi ya 100, kwa sababu nasemaga kidogo chetu tukikiweka pamoja kinaweza play part kubwa sana. Kwa hiyo usihisi kama kidogo chako bwana kitasaidia, kinaweza kikasaidia sana. Tuokoe ndugu yetu hapa Joe, na mimi naamini kila kitu kitakaa vizuri sana. I think ni kupe tu compilation ya namna vitu vilivyokuwa huko kwenye Senate. Wako wengi hawa senators na speeches zao ni refu, so nimejaribu kuchonga at least watu wapate sehemu ambazo ziko za muhimu sana ili vitu vikae vizuri. I think tazama mwanzo mwisho, lakini ukimaliza hakikisha kwamba una subscribe kwa ajili ya kuendelea kupata taarifa nyingi na mpya kila wakati. Bye bye.
Mr. Speaker, these last 2 days to me will remain to be the saddest days in the institution of a family in this Republic of Kenya, and particularly the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. It reminds me of 1998 when I was a student in America, and the former president of the United States of America, William Jefferson Clinton family, was the center of the investigation. Where I come from, Mr. Speaker, a family is supposed to be a strong bond that unites all its members, that provides security, that leads people. But, and very unfortunate, we have been invited to be able to come in between a family. I'm so sad, Mr. Speaker, because I've seen a father testifying against a son testifying against a father, and the father roping in a stepmother. Mr. Speaker, what example are we showing to the younger generation? I'm torn in between, Mr. Speaker. Although I believe that in certain circumstances, it is imperative to be able to separate between family ties and integrity. Mr. Speaker, today I'm torn between a hard place and a rock. I've been invited to try and make a decision, to try and argue that whatever was being shown here is a family that has gone bad, that requires prayers. I want to invite you, my brothers and sisters, for the integrity of the family, to vote consciously and to remember that in certain circumstances, to be able to preserve the rule of law, you have to make those hard choices. I pray for the community of Kenyans who live in Kisii, that when their sons and daughters retrieve back and go after this event today, they can be able to reflect on the institution of a family. It is imperative, Mr. Speaker. I conclude by saying, although I've witnessed something that I never thought I would witness in my life, as I sit there, I remember 1998. I'd hoped that I would never see that in the history of Kenya. But because I've been invited to see it, I'll make a conscious decision.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Chapter 6 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 requires that public officers, public servants, state officers must bring honor and dignity to the nation and dignity to their offices. I will leave it to the conscience of the nation, Mr. Speaker, to judge whether or not the behavior and body language of the Deputy Governor of Kisii is fit for him to hold any public office. The Speaker, the Deputy Governor of Kisii has not just lied on oath and on record. He is at the center of a conspiracy to lie to the Senate for purposes of just exonerating himself from blame. Him and his co-conspirator must have a very dim view of the collective basic intelligence of the Senate. So, Speaker, the easiest way out for the DG would have been to simply apologize to his brother. Simply fix the mess that he has put one Dennis and one Lucy in. We will not be here at midnight discussing his character. So, Speaker, in the interest of time, I have to mention this. The key witness in defense of the DG has broken the hearts of millions of fathers and sons in the country. I want to take this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to assure my son Emmanuel that if I am ever to put him in any mess, I will stand with him. It is a shame for a father to put a son in trouble and take a position against his own son. This is not a trivial matter. This is a serious matter. We must fix the mess in Kisii, and Mr. Speaker, for and on behalf of the great people of Kitui County, I will stand to be counted to fix the mess in Kisii County. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Nyutu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to be very brief. Mr. Speaker, the allegation that poor...
Permission, may I pick my moving notes? Mr. Speaker, as I move this very important motion, I want to start, Mr. Speaker, by saying that today is a day at the bottom of my heart, to the very best of the clarity of my mind, I'm offered a day to celebrate the integrity of the women of the Republic of Kenya. Why? Because, Mr. Speaker, of two women in Kisii, a woman by the name of Lucy Wahito and a woman by the name of Gladys Aminga. I'm celebrating these women in my heart, Mr. Speaker, because I've looked at the evidence, both in affidavit and what they said in the county assembly when the matter was there. And I think these are women of integrity. The deputy governor has spent a lot of energy to twist evidence surrounding the affidavits of these two women, and Mr. Speaker, they have stood their ground. Woman by the name of Lucy Wahito. After the deputy governor received the said 800,000 shillings. He quickly transferred that money to Lucy. And Lucy was brave enough to ask the deputy governor, what is this money for? And the deputy governor told her, and I'm reading from her affidavit, this is money in line with what we had discussed. I'll not go into details because we don't have time. And the woman asked him to take it back. He did not. She sent back the money. That is integrity. What we were told in English, that integrity means doing the right thing even when nobody is watching. Mr. Speaker, Gladys Aminga was also looped in. This time, to my mind, the deputy governor was desperate. Now that the money had come back, he needed to send the money somewhere. So he took the money to Lucy and connected it to some other requests of nephews and whatnot who wanted to be given a through pass to be given business at the docket of Gladys. Gladys stood her ground, and if you go through the evidence, Mr. Speaker, she has written in her own handwriting, trying to clarify to us what compelled her. That, Mr. Speaker, is integrity. My second point, Mr. Speaker, is I want to acknowledge through this moving this motion, for the first time in the many years I have presided over proceedings of impeachment, I have seen humility in legal teams. The legal team from the county assembly has been very humble. They have not tried to be verbose. They have not tried to lecture us. They have not tried to show us how they are learned friends and what have you. They have pursued evidence. I congratulate the legal team of the county assembly. Mr. Speaker, I'm so proud that we have sat on a matter that the defendant had none other than Katwa Kigen. This is one of the most distinguished lawyers, not just in this country, but in the region and internationally. I had never known that I would have an opportunity to listen to Katwa Kigen, none other than the brain that addressed the International Criminal Court. Katwa is a great man. And Katwa, that humility has completely changed my understanding of the legal profession. My third point, Mr. Speaker, is academic, as I support the removal of the governor, the deputy governor. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, in the history of democracy, the greatest senator who ever lived in the United States of America was Senator William Wilbright. He was so great that he wrote and spoke to the story of power. He has got a beautiful book. I'll invite you, if you have time, acquaint yourself with it if you haven't. The book, Mr. Speaker, is called The Arrogance of Power. William Fulbright spoke about the arrogance of power. What you saw the deputy governor of Kisii doing to his own blood brother, Reuben Monda, collecting enforcement officers and doing to this brother of his, the brother who suckled the same breast with him, is the true definition of the arrogance of power. Once you have power, you can do many things, including what Deputy Governor of Kisii did. My fourth point, Mr. Speaker, is at my professional level. In behavioral science, we have something called split personality, which in medical science we refer to as dissociative identity disorder. This is a disorder, Mr. Speaker, whereby a normal person like all of us creates two personalities, personality A and personality B. And they choose to live without knowing that they're abnormal in one personality to serve them at moment X and another personality to serve them at moment B. This disorder is what I witnessed when witness Joseph Misato? Yes? Misati. When Joseph Misati was speaking, it was classical medical description of this disorder. Here is a man who is a very poor polygamist. The guy, his wife died many years ago. And she left him with beautiful children, one of them Dennis. So, Misati, who says that he loves Dennis, when he's in personality A, he's with Dennis in his mind, with Dennis' biological brother, and the late wife. Exit personality A, he goes to B, the guy then goes to the personality of the second wife, with the joint business account, with her children, who, by the way, some of us do research before we debate in this house, who, by the way, has children who Joseph Misati has already put in placement. It is that personality B that has been in this house, that was telling this house that my son is a liar, my son, ABCD, I will not waste your time by repeating his words. It is so unfortunate. That's why this world needs doctors. My fifth point, and I'm finishing, Mr. Speaker, sir. My fifth point, Mr. Speaker, is my desire to persuade you that let us take Deputy Governor Monda home. It is on the doctrine of law, and this is where I leave it to the lawyers. The doctrine of law, you either do it because you have proved it beyond reasonable doubt, or you have proved it on the balance of probability. On the balance of probability of this doctrine, we would be lying to the country, we would be lying to the people of Kisii, that on that balance, A, the boy did not sell his business. He has given us evidence. We would be lying to the country, dear colleagues, that the boy did not send 800,000 in the manner he did. On the balance of probability, Mr. Speaker, sir, we would be lying if we discounted the evidence by the two great women that I've praised at the beginning. My final point, Mr. Speaker, which is point number 6, is on the borderline of philosophy of religion. I am not a very religious person because I don't understand the Bible, but I believe in God. And on that philosophy, Mr. Speaker, many of you have heard that God made man, and man made money, and money made man mad. The madness you are seeing in this house today, Mr. Speaker, where a father can go against his own son, and a deputy governor can go against his brother, is the madness that money has created in society. I move and I request the distinguished senator from Migori to second my motion for removal of Robert Monda. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I think, Mr. Speaker, this is a very important moment in our country. And it's not by sheer coincidence that the mover of the motion for today, Mr. Speaker, is a ranking member of this House. And not only a ranking member, but also my senior in many ways. My senior in Parliament, my senior in life,